Assalamu alaikum ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video of AG Academy and UG TV, and today we are going to study mathematics. Now mathematics, I realize that mathematics is not a favorite subject for a lot of students, but I also believe that it is a favorite subject for a lot of students until 8th grade or 9th grade like myself. And the chapter that we're going to study today is probably one of my all-time favorite chapters of algebraic expressions and how do different algebraic expressions, how to play with them and how to expand them. When I was a student and I was studying this course myself, I used to love this subject and love this topic myself, and it was probably one of my best times when I was studying this. I'm probably going to enjoy this video a lot more than you learning or watching it. So I do hope that you learn and learn from this video as well. But I'm just sharing that I'm going to enjoy it myself. But I also hope that you enjoy it in your own space and personal time as well. So before we move on, here's a fun fact: the chapter and the topic of algebra comes from Algebra. Algebra was a scientist who discovered algebra in the first place. It's a fact that I read online. I might be mistaken, and if I am wrong, do correct me in the comment section, because it is always good to correct someone if he's wrong, and it shows that you're an active participant of the video that you're watching, and you're not just watching it for the sake of watching it. So if I'm correct, do correct me. Do not hesitate to correct me in the comment section. And let's move towards the content. 4.2 algebraic expression. Mathematics, scary subject, not so scary when it really comes down to it, some subject. So basic algebra and basic algebraic manipulation, we're going to first see the kind of questions, and we're just gonna go straight up ahead and tackle the questions that, or the kind of questions that might come in your book, or that might come in your quiz, test, syllabus, examination. And algebraic expression basically consists of two basic things that you need to understand. Number one, you need to understand what is a constant. Constant is a number that does not change, or a value that does not change. And a variable is a value, figure, or an alphabet that has a changing nature. I'm like writing like a doctor but I do like this writing anyhow. So the first question that we're going to solve are some simplest terms and simpler question. How these kind of questions usually come in the form of word problems, and do take it as a word problem. So the question is asking what is the sum of 2x and 3z, and we're just going to write it in in number form. And it's not a very, whenever you're attempting questions of algebraic nature, make sure you're not overthinking. If you're overthinking about an algebraic question, then you're going to get lost and you're going to just waste your mind energy over nothing. These are really simpler questions. If you think you're stuck on something, if you think you do not understand the question, if you think you do not understand the statement, it is better to skip that question for the timing and move on to the next question. Usually these algebraic questions have simpler answers, simpler statements, simpler concepts that you can understand. So it's simply asking what is the sum of 2x and 3z. So the sum usually means addition, so we're just gonna see 2x plus 3z. That is the answer. That's it. There's nothing more than to it. I've written it here as well. What is the product of x and 7y? Product always refers, whenever you see the word product, it always refers to the concept of multiplication. So if you multiply x with 7y, you get the product of 7xy. Divide 3ab by 2c, you just write 3ab divided by, this is the division sign, divided by 2c. Subtract 6 cube from 10z. Again, a very simple form. But make sure that it says subtract 6 cube from 10z. So 10z subtract 6 cube. The mistake or the common mistake you can make here is you just write, if you're not paying attention, you might end up writing 6 cube minus 10z. This is wrong. Make sure you don't write this. Subtract product of x and y. Product of x is x, product of y, and subtract product of x and y. Product of x is x, and subtract product of x and y. So the product of x and y is xy from the sum of p and q, and subtract from the sum of p and q. Okay, so this is it. So we are going to p plus q, and we are going to subtract it from the product of x and y. So this is it. The final question is p plus q minus xy. So we are subtracting the product of x and y from the sum of p and q. Divide the sum of 3 and y by 5. Sum of 3 and y sum is 3 plus y, and we are going to divide it by 5. See, I started overthinking over this statement. I made a couple of mistakes, and it's okay to make mistakes. Usually you have a rough work draft whenever you're attempting a mathematical question or appearing in an examination. It is always good to have a rough draft or a rough work page on the side, so you attempt the question first and then you move on to the next question. If you are making any mistake, you make sure you do not make that mistake again. Anyhow, moving on to the next question. N is equal to 1, 2. So this is a variable here. N is considered as a variable. So the values of n is given as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's saying what would be the value of 2n if n is equal to 1. So if n is equal to 1, we know that 2 into 1 is equal to 2, 2 into 2 is equal to 4, 2 into 3 is equal to 6, 2 into 4 is equal to 8, 2 into 5 is equal to 10. What would be 2 plus n? We know that 2 is a constant value, n is a changing value because it's a variable. So for the first one, we know that 2 plus 1 would be 3, 2 plus 1 would be 3, then 2 plus 2 would be 4, 2 plus 3 would be 5, 2 plus 4 would be 6, 2 plus 5 would be 7. You can cross check that in your by a calculator if you wish to. N squared, the values of n are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We just need to square them. So 1 into 1 is 1, 2 into 2 is 4, 3 into 3 is 9, 4 into 4 is 16, 5 into 5 is 25. 2n squared. Now we do have the values of n squared right here. We just need to multiply the value of n squared by 2 to fill out this table. So 2 into 1 is equal to 2, 2 into 4 is equal to 8, 2 into 9 is equal to 9 is equal to 18, 2 into 16, 32, 2 into 25 is 50. Now it says 2n squared whole squared, 2n whole squared. So this is 2n squared. That means that we are not going to use these values. We have a lot of mistakes that students make while coming to this part of the question is they end up using these values and squaring them off and then writing them here. So we need to be careful when you're studying a question. So it says 2n bracket whole squared. So the value that we're going to use here are the value of 2n right here. If you apply brackets around here and square them, then all you need to do is that the values of 2n are these, and then you just need to square them off. So 2 into 2 is equal to 4, 4 into 4 is equal to 16, 6 into 6 is equal to 36, 8 into 8 is 64, 10 into 10 is 100. So this takes care of the table or the kind of question that might appear in your examination. If you do have any questions related to this, or if I made any mistake, do let me know in the comment section. We're always open for discussion and forum discussion. Your advice and comments are most welcome and valued. The value of 2n changes as n changes. Obviously we multiply the given value of n by 2, obtain the corresponding value of 2n, obviously. Now the distributive law is interesting. I am not too sure about what is distributive law, but the kind of questions that you might get, it's embarrassing to admit, I'm not sure about the saying as a mathematics teacher that I am not too sure about the distributive law. I think it's about how you distribute the numbers and the variables and the constants that you get into the questions. And the questions that we are going to solve up ahead using the distributive law, I think we'll understand the concept as we solve the questions. So it says, what is 2 into negative x? We know that it's negative 2x. And what is 2 into negative 4? We know it's negative 8. Again, negative 2 into negative x is 2x, and negative 2 into negative 4. We do know the concept that if you have the product of two negative numbers, it always ends up giving you a positive number. So negative 2 into negative 4 is equal to 8, positive 8. 3 into y is equal to 3y, and 3 into negative 2x is going to be 6x. Again, if I made any mistake, do let me know. A, B plus C, applying the simple concept of multiplication, A into B, we know that it's going to be AB plus A into C is equal to AC. Solve and simplify. It says that this is a statement, we just need to solve and simplify it. It means that we need to just open the brackets, do the basic multiplication, do the basic subtraction within the brackets, and make sure that we do solve and simplify the statement into its simplest form. So let's start doing it. So it's negative, we're gonna multiply this negative sign with all the statement which is in the bracket. It's going to be minus x. Negative into negative 5 is going to be positive 5, plus 6x minus, again we're going to multiply this minus value with the values within the brackets, parentheses. So it's going to be minus 7x. Negative into negative is going to be positive, plus 2 plus 12. And to make it simpler for a lot of students, it is better to put all the values of x on one side and all the values of constants or simpler values on the other side, which will help your addition and the process of adding and subtracting easier. It will take away the confusion from the question, or it will take away the chances of error that might come while you're attempting a question in an examination. So we're going to do as minus x minus 7x, put all the x values on one side and then put all the constants on the other side, plus 6 plus 5 plus 2 plus 12, and then solve. Negative into negative, you always end up adding them. So it's gonna be negative 8x plus 5 plus 6 is equal to 11. 11 plus 2 is 13. 13 plus 12 is equal to 13 plus 12 is equal to that's a 13 plus 12, right? It's 25. So if I do make any mistakes, again I'm saying in any form of when I was a student myself, and I'm still a student myself, I used to make a lot of mathematical errors when I was supposed to attempt these mathematical questions, simpler mathematical errors that would take my points away and disappoint me, and I would just be really disappointed and sad that what did I do, what stupid mistake did I make this time. And the problem was I did not used to revise the questions or the answers that I used to write on the paper. If I had the tendency or the mind to revise those questions or the answers again, I think I would have gotten a lot better marks, and I would have been in a better position in the examination hall mentally as well, with a little stress. So it's always good to revise whatever you've attempted and whatever you've written in the examination paper. Moving on, here is some practice questions for you. I'm gonna just put them on screen for some time so you can write them for yourself. And I know people do not like homework, people do not like attempting questions, students do not like vocational homework or homework of any kind. But I do want you guys to just try to attempt these questions without the fear of being wrong, without the fear of getting it wrong, without the fear of teachers coming in and scolding you and telling you, hey, you've done this wrong, why have you done this wrong, without the fear of being wrong. Just experiment with these equations, experiment with your mind, just play with them, see what you get, and share the answers with us. And then if you're facing any problem conceptually, or if you're facing any problem in any sort of way, we'll be more than happy to help you out in any sort of way that you would like. But do attempt these questions freely, and I will see you guys in the next videos. Till then, take care, fi amanillah, and I'll see you guys in the next video. This is the second time I'm saying maths is a fun subject.